Hello, and you're watching The Buzz here at WCTV with me, your host, Queen Banda. Today with me is Tom Smith from the Gateway Treasure Hunters Club. And he is here to talk to us about what the organization is about, who are they, and what they're doing. So stay tuned.
A group of people that get together. We've all joined for basically the same reasons. We wanted to meet other people that have the same interests that we do. Mm-hmm. We've all joined because we wanted to learn more about the hobby.
You said hobby. Talk to us about what is the hobby.
The hobby itself is just what it says as a treasure hunter. What do you consider treasure?
Yes.
What you might consider treasure, I might not, all right? To us, one man's trash is another man's treasure, so to speak. Things that we find, you can go to the beach and find coins. Doing that, coin shooters are people that are basically finding today mostly what people lost within the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
But you can go there, you can find everything that anything made out of metal
yes.
that somebody would carry on the beach, all right? Whether it be jewelry, whether it be trash, or whether it be coins or whatever. Same way in the water. When you're doing the water, you don't get the level of trash you would obviously on the beach. So you could go a long way before you even get what we call a hit, where you get the signals that something's there to dig. And
now, do you always target the beaches, or do you also?
No, no. I myself personally,
yes.
I like to do all different phases of it. I like going and what they call just getting in the dirt. You get out and you go into the fields, or you go into private properties. With permission, of course.
Okay.
That's one big point. It's very rare that we would go to a private
yes.
Piece of land or private property as a group.
Yes.
Mainly because you're either going to have to pay a fee to the owner of the property, or they're not going to allow you to go on there anyway because they don't want a large group of people running around all over their property.
Yes,
People are very skeptical. It's hard enough to get
yes.
for just one or two people to get out there, let alone go out there with an army. But it's a lot of work and a lot of time.
You mentioned the treasures, and you said that you don't have a specific definition to what the treasure entails in your organization. Now, could you share with us a little bit about the treasures that you have found as an organization? Sure.
You go on, say for instance, you go on to a person's property. Yes. Say it's an older home, goes back a couple hundred years, whatever, and they've got maybe half an acre property there, and you might find things that you might find old coins, you might find various different implements, sometimes old toys.
Yes.
Parts from the house. It might have been personal items from the family that lived there. That's another thing too. It depends on, are you looking at a home where what is this to the people that actually own the home? Okay. Are they so many generations living in the house, or they just bought the house in the last few years or so? So anything that you would find in the ground really does not have any direct tie to them. So, like I say, some people's trash is some people's treasure. You find an old brooch, or you find an old, pin or buttons, especially in the line of like military or something of that nature, or police, fire, things like that. You know, they're unique items, and so when the treasure part of it is, what have I found here?
Yeah.
It's all the part of that treasure is you gaining the knowledge of understanding what that is, and learning what its history is. You try to make sense out of some of it, you know.
Now, you mentioned you found this button. I'm sorry, it was a ring. It was a ring of a veteran, I believe?
Yes.
Yes.
That was a club event.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So may you please tell us that story?
Yes. About 3 weeks ago or so, 3, maybe 4, one of our members, who happens to own a treasure hunter shop down on the Cape, down in South Yarmouth, made contact to my wife and myself about getting a few people together to go down and help find a ring. The conservation office down there's a conservation company, I guess is what it is. They have had one of the guys that works there, his friend is a 90-year-old Marine. He joined the Marine Corps when he was 17 years old during the Second World War, and right after he got out of basic, he bought that ring, of a Marine Corps ring. While he was down there a year ago, helping to clear brush on the property, we got a group of us, about 10 people all together, that ended up coming down. And within 15 minutes, we walked up, boom.
You found the ring?
Yeah. Yeah, the ring was found by one of our members, and bada bing, Dr. Mike Myers, who's a member of he's our training officer, and he was the one that found it. And the next thing you know,
the reaction from the Marine's face must be
priceless. Absolutely priceless. You know, he just, you couldn't wipe the smile off of his face.
Yes.
And something like that, that's part of what we do as an organization, as a group. There are individuals within that members that are that belong to various different organizations, such as Ring Finders. .com. It's an international organization where if they're able to get some kind of markings and to be able to find the owners, or they will call in and they will make contact with Ring Finders and say, I lost this ring at this location and this is what I have, and then they will do everything impossible to get that piece back to them.
Let's talk about the equipment.
What do you use? I personally use a couple of different machines. I use on land and on sand and stuff. I use a Garrett AT Pro, which is a very versatile machine. It's I'm not saying it's not the hardest machine to get involved. It's not a major learning curve to operate.
You don't have to learn the menu.
You don't have to be a PhD to use it. So but it's a very effective and very well made, and it's made in the United States. And their maintenance is excellent also. A lot of it has to do with your own personal preference, or what you want. When someone would say something to me like, I talk to somebody on the beach per se, and they say, well, what's a good detector to get? You know, I'll tell them to go online and go to some place and just type in metal detectors. And it'll bring you up, you know, and you can sit there and read the different things and make the choice for yourself. You know, a lot has to do with the amount of money you want to spend. The one thing I will say about the equipment involved is the more money you expend, the more, you know, whistles and buttons and the rest and all of that is involved, which gives you more information of what you're doing. Don't get me wrong, it's a higher learning curve. Some pieces of equipment are they're not meant for me. I haven't got the time, you know. I look at it like I'm any day I'm not really enjoying my machine, I'm wasting time.
Yes,
right?
yes. Oh, you sound very passionate about this.
Oh, yes.
This hobby. Please tell us what got you into this hobby.
1972.
Okay.
I was fresh out of service.
Yeah.
I was living in Staten Island. I had a friend of mine who lived in Brooklyn, and he called me up, and he said, "Let's get together, man." You know, we were overseas together.
Yes.
And I said, "Yeah, okay." Yeah, so I went over. It was one afternoon, and
Yes.
I went over, and when I was there, you know, we're talking about different things, and then he brings out this buzz box, what I call now. I have one. I still have it. I still have it, because basically it's what beat frequency oscillator, and all it did was have a tone on it. It had a tone, and it would increase or decrease,
Depending
and and depending on whether it was metal or mineral, and you adjusted both. And it was quite an experience, but it worked.
Yeah.
And I said, "What are you going to do with that?"
Yeah.
He says, I find coins and jewelry and stuff. I'm going like, "Oh, I thought you were, you know, maybe looking for mines or something. I don't know. You know, what are you doing? You were going to go to work for the city, you know, looking for pipes or something." And he goes, No. He says, "You got to see this thing go." And yeah, okay. So we went down to a local park. There was a baseball, you know, complex type thing down there. And we found about 20-some coins in about 15, 20 minutes. I was really like, wow, this is really pretty cool, you know. And we didn't have the elaborate digging tools and the things that we got today. We were using just like a screwdriver and an ice pick probe type thing, and then we'd flip it up and work it out, and then we had another little digging tool, like a garden tool. And I thought, this is really pretty cool, you know. He says, "Well, I'll come over. We'll go out." So he come up the following weekend, come over to Staten Island, and we went down by the old fort. And in that day, you could walk right in, over and in and over anything. You know, you didn't have any restrictions or anything. It's not an active place now, but at the time it was still an active military installation. And we found 2 gold coins. Not big, you know, gold doubloons or anything like that. You know, small, you know, two dime-sized gold coins, which were like $5, $1 type of thing. And that was it. I not only had the hook in my mouth, but I swallowed the sinker. I swallowed, you know, everything, the bobber. I was gone. I was done. And I spent the next,
gold, right?
I was done. And I went and I spent the next 3 weeks convincing my wife that I needed this thing, of which you know, she wasn't that excited about. But I think I just finally bugged her enough where she's just go get the damn thing, all right? You know, that's enough.
You said, when we met, you said, this is a great hobby, but if you're planning to get rich, or you think you're going to get rich, you got another thing coming.
Oh, no. The richness is in, the riches are the knowledge you gain.
Okay.
The understanding of, and you know, when you pull things out of the ground and you go home, and for most of us, it's about researching and about learning what these objects were used for, what they could have been, what they might not be. We have other tools and search engines that we're able to use. You know, like there's sites on there called ID Me, and you take the picture of your item and you post it.
Oh, okay.
And there are people from all over the world that are in that group that you look at something and there's no way in this world you're going to figure out what in the world could this possibly be. But yet some guy from, you know, out in Idaho or wherever, you know, comes on, oh yeah, I remember seeing that. That's of this, and this. And, you know, they come over. Some of these guys can even give you the part numbers of, you know, what these things are, you know. I mean, there's that many knowledgeable people out there.
So the richness is the knowledge, not money value.
Well, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, you go out and you find a certain amount of coins. Like for me, most of what you're going to find out there is going to be clad. Okay. So it's not going to have anything more than the actual face value. Yes. That's it. Like I said, when you're on the beaches, most of what you're finding is what's been lost in the last couple of weeks, at best. A lot of times it's just been what's been lost that day, you know. I don't know if you've ever really walked the beaches much, but how many times have you walked the beach and you found 2 or 3 coins laying right there on the surface? Somebody got up out of their pocket or that might have been in a purse, tipped it, and boom, out it came, and they never even knew it. You know, I mean, you're not going to hear a coin hit the sand. You know, so you know but that happens, and that's basically what you're going to find in there as a coin shooter, unless you go into, you know, property or in the dirt, like I was saying, into parks and various places like that.
Now, how can people join your organization?
All you have to do, maybe you come to our, go online, gthclub.com, and that's our that's our website. We also have a Facebook group, like I was saying, but you have to join the group to be able to see what's been posted. And if you wanted to join, you could come to one of the meetings or any one of our events that's advertised online and join right there. We have a code of ethics that we follow that is very important. This is what we're really about, is properly getting permissions to get on, you know, on a person's property, properly making the incisions into the ground. Yes. All right. I don't want to use the term holes, because that gives a different perspective. What we do is we do like a plug, and it comes out. We use especially on someone's property, and then you put some kind of a cover down, like a towel or a piece of plastic, and you take all the dirt and put it on top of that, and find your piece that you're looking for. Pour that all back in. Replace the no different than a divot at a golf course. Okay, and once done right, you never knew we were even there, and that's what we really hope for. We look at it where, you know, you treat people the way you want to be treated. You're courteous, and you try to promote, you know, the well-being of the hobby in general. You know, you don't want to be infringing on anyone else's rights, and you know, you don't want to be damaging any property. When we go into a piece of property or anywhere, I go down to the beach or I go on someone's property, and I find 20, 30 bottle caps and 15, 20 of this, that, and the other thing. I always wear a pouch. I've got a pouch, and it goes in there. And then and I haul it away. I don't dig stuff up and just throw it around. You know, don't get me wrong, I don't have BFI written on me.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not hauling away, you know, whole bags of garbage or anything like that. But when I pull something up out of the sand or the dirt and the rest of it, what I've found, I haul away.
And
we got that time.
Met you. You were on Onset Beach.
Mm-hmm.
You had your equipment on and just slowly, little walk. You're so you're concentrating your own little world.
Yeah.
That must be so great to have that peace of mind, that concentration. And is it always like that, or?
Not always. Not always.
No?
No, not in the least. There is one of the easiest places to actually work.
Okay.
Because, you know, wind doesn't really affect you that much. It will create an issue for you ear-wise, you know, hearing-wise if you don't have a good seal.
Yes.
But you go down there, down to the beach, say, for instance. You go down there this time of day, what are you going to find down there?
A lot of people.
You're going to find a lot of kids.
A lot of kids.
All right. Now, you've got this wand out in front of you, and his headset's on. You think you're piquing the interest of these young kids? Oh my. You could be a real Pied Piper in a real short period of time. And you're, next thing you know, you've got them. I myself personally, I find it entertaining sometimes. Don't get me wrong, there's times when I really could do without this, okay? But I find that the kids are generally, they're just really interested in what you're doing. They just are just full of curiosity, and they just want to know. They just want to learn. So, you know, I tell them, you know, they ask me what I'm looking for, and I tell them I'm looking for anything metal that somebody might have dropped. I'm looking for coins and jewelry or whatever. And they, oh, you know, that's good, you know. Occasionally, I'll see a kid out there. I've found, like, say, a toy car. I have right now, probably just this season, probably 20, 30 cars. And I joke with it online as being my used car lot. You know, I've got a new addition to my car lot. You know, come on down and, you know, check out your next ride. You know, type of thing. You know, that's part of the fun. Well, occasionally, I'll see a kid down there, and you can see they haven't got a lot going. So, and I'll turn around and I'll say, "Hey, you like cars?" And I'll let them have the car. You know, and I feel good, he feels good, and you know, have a nice day. You know.
You have managed to sell me this hobby. I think I'll be going online and try to find myself my metal detector.
Well, that's good. That's good. You'll find it's a fun thing to do, and I mean, it's got its own individual challenges. Don't get me wrong, but and for the most part, you really enjoy it. If there are people out there that they're not really interested in treasure hunting, but they might have lost something in their yard or somewhere, they could, you know, get in contact with us, and you know, we could, you know, make arrangements to go out and look for it for them. You know, I can't always guarantee that we're going to find it, but you know,
at least you're going to make an effort.
We can make an effort to go out there. We're not the only people out there with metal detectors. You know. I've gone down to the beach down there, and I walk out, and there's 4 other people out there, and I'm out there, or I've gone down there at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and the whole place has been covered because you can see the footprints and where they've been dragging the scoops.
You don't want to do that one day.
So you know, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people around that have them that don't belong to, you know, organizations.
Thank you so much for watching The Buzz here at WCTV. With my guest today was Tom Smith from the Gateway Treasure Hunter Club, right?
Gateway Treasure Hunters Club, yes.
Yes, so hopefully you reach out to him if you have any questions, and if you're interested, you too could be a member of those club. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day.